Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I've decided to go on an impromptu live Facebook feed here to talk about something that's been coming up quite a bit for me in my work with my clients. So first of all, if you don't know me, if I haven't had the chance to meet you in person, my name is Lisa Sabaniak, and I am the owner of LifeLikeYouMeanIt.com and the very group that you are in, The Life That You Deserve. I am a survivor of 10 years of child abuse, where I was brought through physical abuse, sexual abuse, and psychological abuse. I worked another decade after I was able to leave my abuser to try to heal from that. And really, in truth, it took 2 decades for me to heal from that. Those were the days before coaches, before motivational speakers, really even. And I didn't have any help at hand. I certainly didn't have the internet because I'm 43. So that was a long time ago. The internet didn't even exist then. So I had to do it on my own. And so I did. I got there. I became a healthy, vibrant, successful human being that was able to actually leave my past behind me and actually use it to drive me forward. And now with my work with my clients now, who I help to do the exact same thing, I've noticed something that has been creeping up, something that I have been dealing with several different people. And I don't believe in coincidences. So I think that this is a really perfect opportunity for me to bring it out there in a nice live feed here, so that if you want to comment, if you want to ask questions, you can go ahead and do that, and I'll just kind of keep talking about what I wanted to say until any questions come up, and then I'd be happy to answer them for you. So the thing that has been coming up with my clients as of late is this idea of holding themselves accountable for their abuse. And if you have suffered from any type of abuse, you know exactly what I'm talking about. We all do it. We blame ourselves, right? Whatever the type of abuse was, no matter how old that we were at the time, we blame ourselves. So that comes in the form of, well, anything really, right? I shouldn't have been wearing those revealing clothes. I shouldn't have spoke to them in that way. I shouldn't have left myself in that vulnerable position. I should have said stop. I should have gone for help. I should have told somebody. I should have. And we do this because I believe it's because we lost control during our abuse. And I think that's very obvious, right? When we're being abused, whether it's a single time or whether it is repetitively, we don't have any control. And one of the very interesting ways for us to gain control is to blame ourselves. We put the ownership back on us as a way of controlling that. And that is all well said and good. I am all for coping strategies that we need to use in order to get through life, in order to survive, particularly those types of events. However, once we're out of those events, we don't need those coping strategies anymore. And unfortunately, they end up hindering us. And in this case, believing that you had something to do with your abuse, that you were the one that was responsible, that you need to somehow be able to forgive yourself for that abuse, is what prevents you from being able to heal. It prevents you from being able to move forward. It prevents you from leaving your past where it belongs, in the past. So I'm going to say something really controversial here. Well, maybe it's not all that controversial, but I'm still going to say something that might make you go, oh, your abuse had nothing to do with you. Full stop. Your abuse had absolutely nothing to do with you. Your abuse had to do with your abuser. Whoever it was, I don't care. Whatever they did, I don't care. Well, I care, but not in this context. In this context, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who did it. It doesn't matter what they did. It was about them, right? Maybe in their upbringing, the same thing was done to them. Maybe in their upbringing, they just didn't have a great one, so they didn't have somebody to model proper behavior. Maybe they didn't have somebody to teach them right from wrong. Maybe they witnessed types of abuse being done. Maybe they're a very angry person from something else that happened in their life. Or maybe they're just a despicable person. Maybe they're a psychopath. Maybe they're dealing with psychiatric issues. It doesn't really matter. What drives a person to react in a negative way versus a positive way, what drives a person to decide to strike somebody, or to decide to rape somebody, or to decide to unleash anger and hateful words on somebody, doesn't have to do with the person that they are doing that to. If I had the power to go back in time to your particular abusive situation, and I could pluck you out and put you off to the side and take somebody else and put them in, the same thing will happen to them. I guarantee it. It doesn't have anything to do with you. Now, I agree that there are things that you need to forgive yourself for, but this isn't one of them. I don't care what you did, said, or wore. Nobody has the right to put their hands on you or to speak to you in a way that you do not deserve. Ever. For any reason. I do believe that you do have to forgive yourself for something, though. I believe that you have to forgive yourself for not being able to give yourself whatever it was that you needed when you were going through that. It's hard to have perspective when you're the one that is surviving something like this. My abuse happened when I was 2 years old, all the way through until I was 12 years old. And when my mom found out, she immediately removed me from the situation. And she attempted to put me into counseling so I'd have somebody to talk to about these issues. And my immediate response, and my response for quite a number of years, was no. Unequivocally, no. I do not want to speak to anybody about this. And I didn't really have the emotional capacity or the emotional intelligence yet to be able to understand why I felt so strongly for that. And now I do, right? I felt shame. I felt responsible, right? I also felt like it was my fault. I felt like the person that I was going to speak to was going to want to know legitimately, why didn't I speak up? Why didn't I do anything? Why didn't I fight back? And as a 12-year-old or 13-year-old or 14-year-old being, entertaining this idea of having to sit there and be judged by somebody, which in my view at that age is what I thought counseling was going to be. And for me to put myself in that position, as a child, I didn't understand why I didn't say no. I didn't understand why I didn't tell somebody. Well, truth be told, I did. I told a couple of people who didn't do anything, and that's probably what fueled me not telling any more people. But why didn't I scream from the rooftops? Why didn't I open my window and tell every single person who would listen what was happening? Right? Why didn't I do that? Well, I didn't do it because I was 8. I was 2, I was 3, I was 4, I was 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I was a baby. I was just a little kid. And at 12 years old, that little kid having to face the idea of going and seeing a counselor, I couldn't recognize that I was just a little kid. I couldn't recognize then that, of course, I'm going to be scared and frightened and not know who I'm supposed to turn to. Of course, I would have thought that my mom and all the other adults in my life knew, because they were the adults. They know everything, right? Of course, I'm going to feel that way. Now, several decades later, I can look back and understand that I was just a kid. I was a lonely and desperate kid. I was a kid who believed my abuser. I thought that I was ugly and stupid and worthless and useless, and that's why nobody was helping me. Right? I didn't have the ability, physically or mentally, to be able to show myself otherwise, because I was just a kid. So if I need to forgive myself for anything, it wasn't whatever I said or did or looked at him or whatever it was that made him tip over the edge that day. It wasn't that. I don't need to forgive myself for the clothes I wore or how I played or what I did or anything like that. I don't need to forgive myself for not fighting back or not screaming from the rooftops, not telling every single person that I ever came across in my sight. I don't need to forgive myself for that because I was just a kid. And I'm not responsible, because if that was anybody else in that house, the same thing would have happened to them. And I'm pretty sure the same thing would have happened to them whether they were a boy or a girl. It wasn't about anything to do with me. But I do need to forgive myself for not being able to give myself any better. Not that I should have, but if I need to feel that control, if I need to feel like I'm responsible for anything, if I need to be able to let go of what I'm holding on, then I need to be able to say to myself, you did the best that you possibly could with the tools that you had available to you at that time. And those tools included other people that could offer me support and help, but it also just included my own abilities, right? My own emotional strength, my own emotional intelligence at that particular time in my life. So I hope that you can relate with this a little bit. I hope that it wasn't too shocking, me saying that your abuse had nothing to do with you. I don't mean that to come off as cold or callous or anything like that. On the contrary, it's come up quite a bit in my practice with others, with my clients. And it's really drawn my attention to the fact that it is such a common thing to happen with people that have suffered from any type of abuse, is to blame themselves. And there's no need. There's absolutely no need. It wasn't about you. The only forgiving that needs to happen here is the abuser trying to find the reason for why they did what they did to you and anybody else, and seek the help that they need for that. Now, if you would like to jump on a free discovery call with me so I could get to know you and we could see how I can help you, I would love to do that. It is completely free. It's 30 minutes of time. I've included the link underneath this video, or perhaps it shows up on the top of this video. But the link is to my calendar page, and my calendar page will allow you to choose a time and a date that works the best for you, so that you can book in a 30 minutes section of time where you're not going to be disturbed, and we can figure out exactly how we can delve deeper so that we can give you the tools that you need to be able to move forward in your life, leave the past behind for you. And why would I do something like this? Why would I offer myself for free? It's because I love what I do. Right? I work with really amazing people that have the potential to have lives that are beyond their wildest dreams right now. And that gives me absolutely the most tremendous amount of joy, if you can imagine, to help them get there. Right? To be able to finally leave their past behind them and move forward. There's no greater feeling than knowing that you have helped somebody to do that. So yeah, maybe that is selfish of me, but I love that. And of course, I work with lots of clients where we go much, much deeper than this, but using this basic idea at the core of what we do. So maybe if we're on this discovery call, if we find that we get along and it seems like a good link, maybe we'd like to partner up so that I can help you to do exactly the same thing. Either way, it's a free call, there's no pressure, and I will end up giving you tons of tools that you'll be able to use and help you every day. I hope that you found this helpful. I hope that you can go on now and you can think to yourself, you know what? I am so grateful for what I was able to do at that time to help myself get through what I needed to. And you're right, Lisa. My abuse had nothing to do with me. It didn't have to do with my gender or my age or my height or my weight or my looks. It didn't have to do with what I said. It had to do with my abuser. Full stop. I hope you enjoyed this. I certainly loved doing this for you. Please get in touch. www.lifelikeyoumeanit.com/calendar. Thank you. Have a great weekend.